Yo, guys, it's cheat meal day. If you've been following my 12 weeks transformation, you'd know it's cheat meal time today. And as you can imagine, it's very exciting times. So, many questions. Why do you have cheat meal? How often do you have cheat meal? What do you eat? Do you count the macros of the cheat meal? Do you count the calories of the cheat meal? All these questions I always often get asked. So I'm gonna take you through all this while I'm enjoying my juicy cheat meal.
So, first question you might be asking, where am I having my cheat meal? And of course, it's the big old haha Mackies. I don't often fancy Mac, but so it's mainly pizza for me, um, cheesecake, some weird stuff. So this time, it's been 6 weeks since I had my last cheat meal. So for some reason, I just fancied Mac. I can't even remember the last time I had Mac, but basically, I just fancied it. So let's get inside and order all the juicy stuff. So we already know what I'm having now. Big old Mackies. Now, why am I having it? So, as you can imagine, from prolonged dieting times, your body adapts to certain type of food that's going in. And so, contrary to what most people think, that cheat meal will speed up your metabolism, that's not exactly what happened, because your metabolism doesn't really slow down, just your body adapts to the type of food that is getting in, to the macros, and to the calories intake. Yeah, it's very, very juicy. Okay, question is, do I count the calories for this meal? If it was competition time, yes, exactly. The macros and split, and very accurate split, especially depends on how far this cheat meal from the show. Ideally, there's no cheat meal in the last 4 weeks, really. But for now, what I do is I count the total calories intake without taking the macros into consideration. So means the total daily intake will be the same, because then I cut everything else in the morning of that day up to the meal. But I don't worry about the macros. Again, it's not right and wrong. This is just the approach that I do at this time, and it works with me every time. In fact, most of the time it works so well that the week after I'm a lot leaner without doing anything different apart from just the cheat meal, returning to the deficit tomorrow, and that's it, just going normal, same calories expenditure, same workout intensity, everything really same, no major changes apart from the cheat meal. And that's what I mean, guys, by knowing your body and knowing what works for you. every time, because that took me years to know exactly what works and what doesn't work. So, for example, some people be doing very well. The moment they have a cheat meal, they start having really bad cravings. It makes the opposite results with them. They feel massively bloated. They have water retention problems the next day. All this. So that's why it's very important to know exactly what works for you, because what works for you might not work for me, and so on. So everybody's different. So the question after that is, do you have to have the cheat meal? But the answer is no. Not everybody needs to do it. So extreme dieting for bodybuilding is different to you just trying to drop 2 kilos. So you don't need to just make it as an excuse to eat shit every week. However, it depends on how bad your lifestyle is and your nutrition is. You might find it helpful to get you going and to get you to look forward to the next one and the next one. But in most cases, I assure you, you don't need it that often anyway. And sometimes you get clients who have it scheduled in their routine. It's this time, it's after 3 weeks, and then they say, I feel like I can go another 2 weeks without, I don't have big cravings or anything like that. Then great, that's fine. It's not necessarily to have it. You don't have to have it. But in some cases, in bodybuilding training, a bodybuilding prep for shows, it's different. Sometimes it's necessary in order to make further progress and lean more. Sometimes you're stuck, sometimes you have some water issues. So yeah, everybody is different. That's why plans are always customized. So what works for you might not work for somebody else, and so on. Oh man, it was needed. It feels like it was needed. Can't deny that it was needed, to be honest. So it feels very good now. Now I can go another 4 weeks, and I can look forward to the next cheat meal in 4 weeks' time. The other point I want to make is it's not always the case that you have to have the cheat meal every 4 weeks, or every 6 weeks, or every 8 weeks. Sometimes you're stuck, you're not losing any weight, and everything is good, like you're following everything according to the plan. In this case, sometimes all you need to do is change the type of food. That usually does the trick. Again, not with everybody, but as simple as that. Doing that, returning the next day to the same routine, and then all of a sudden the week after, they drop the weight. So it could work. Sometimes it makes things worse. So when I have a new client, we explore these things, including what type of food that works for you, because for example, ketogenic diet doesn't work with everybody. Although when it works, it makes fantastic results. But when it doesn't work, it's bad, because you can actually get fat from it. It literally happens. And what's more interesting, sometimes ketogenic diet works fantastically with some people. Then they go into off season, whatever they're doing, or they stop dieting for a while, and then they return. They want to do another ketogenic diet because it worked for them, right? Makes sense, of course. Then they try it for the second time, and it makes the complete opposite results. Yeah, it happens. So your body is like a machine. You know, the machine changes sometimes. Sometimes you need to change the type of oil you put in the machine, or the type of surfacing you do to the machine, or the type of fuel that runs the machine. All this is possible, right? It's exactly the same with your body. What I used to do for preparing for a competition 10 years ago, not like 5 years ago, not like 2 years ago. My body responded to certain things 10 years ago different to what it responds to 2 3 years ago, or even in that diet. You know, it's different. The timing of the diet, the competition prep, the cutting time, or the season time is different. Before, when I was 10 years younger, I could literally prepare for a competition and be as lean as you can imagine in 8 weeks. Now, 8 weeks definitely won't get me lean enough for competition, certainly. So I need at least 12 to 16 weeks now. So all these things you get to know the more you go through seasons, off season, and cutting and competition prep. You gain all this knowledge about your body and yourself. The one interesting thing about cheat meals is, again, it used to be more. I can have more frequent, more cheat meals with better results. Now, if I have the same frequency, I can get bloated, or it could make the opposite results. So, for example, if you've been following my progression on social media, on Instagram, you'll see how lean I got recently in the last 2 to 3 weeks. And I didn't have cheat meals for 6 weeks. And I think it works fantastically. I don't know if I had a cheat meal every 2 weeks, what would the results be now, right? Now, I had cheat meal today, so I've got 4 weeks to go without cheat meal. So I'm gonna see now if that helped or not. I'm gonna work it out. I have the photos. I take photos for measurements. I do the body composition. I do the body caliper, and I do the manual measurements. However, manual measurements is not very good way to track your progress every week. You're not gonna see any difference in a week with manual measurements. But body caliper, possibly. Photos is the best because you can clearly see. And what I always advise with this is to have the same photos, and preferably the same place if possible, the same background, the same posing trunk or bikini for girls, or even short if you're just wearing short. If you pose, if you know how to do bodybuilding posing, then just keep the same poses. If you're doing quarter turn, keep the same quarter turn. If you're doing the 7 poses, that's fine. If you're just doing front double biceps, back double biceps, and one side pose, that's fine. But keep them the same every time so you can see the difference clearly. Last but not least, guys, is what to have in the cheat meal. So again, that totally depends on the person. But what I mean by this, you cannot think that you're gonna have everything you want in this cheat meal. You fancy pizza, you fancy this, you fancy mac, you fancy ice cream, you cannot have all of them. Yeah, again, it depends on what you're dieting for, how long you've been dieting, how serious you're dieting. Is it a competition, or is it just somebody who needs to drop a stone, whatever. But it's a good idea to do, like how I do it, is I work out what I'm gonna have this time. It doesn't always work because I fancied pizza up to just like few days ago. All of a sudden I was driving past Mac and I just had this smell. I was like, oh Mac, I can't wait few days now to have it. And it was shit, to be honest, but I satisfied my fantasy, so I don't regret that. So yeah, so that was the plan. I'm gonna have this, and in the next one I'm gonna have chicken and chips. Weird, right? But that's what I always fancy. So like that. So that way you look forward to it, and it's a way to have kind of treat yourself to everything you like, and it's a good way to keep your dieting going. It's almost like a nice little reward at the end of a period, whether it's a week, 2, 4, 6. So yeah, I hope this helps seeing the insights of my cheat meal. And thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, leave it for me in the comments and I will do my best to reply to everybody. It was a very juicy time with you guys while having my cheat meal. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again. Stay jacked.